Hello and welcome to the Real Gary Tussey Podcast, where we talk about anything and everything that could ever amount to anything or everything to anybody and everybody who ever intends to amount to something. We'll be right back. Hello, welcome to this edition of Real Gary Tussey Podcast. And yes, I'm still your host, and I'm still pleased to be nominated as the most interesting man on Facebook Live at the hour of 5 a.m. every weekday morning. This is Gary Tussey, the Real Gary Tussey Podcast. There was a package sitting in the living room for 2 or 3 days. It was sitting there open, just sitting there. And I get that all the time because my lovely wife, Julia, and the children who still are grown but still live here, that's another story. We'll make a whole podcast out of that. They get packages all the time, and then there's stuff laying around, blah, blah, blah. And so yesterday, Julie says, "Oh, here, this is for you." So it'd been sitting there 2 or 3 days, and it had been opened. And it was my gift from a dear friend when I solicited for, I'm getting tired of drinking coffee that is not hot, because after recording here a few moments and not having a producer in the studio, my We the People coffee mug allows my coffee to get cold. So, dear friend of mine responded to my need, and I now have what we have christened the Buddy Causey coffee cup warmer. And every day when I'm drinking from my cup, and when I drink from my cup, now I don't do this on during the recording of the podcast, but I'm going to today because I am now teaching humanity how to drink coffee and not slurp. And that's how you do it. Drinking without slurping is just an art form, and you can learn it here on Real Gary Tussey. Thanks for being with us as we are going into this is an epic episode of Real Gary Tussey Live. This is the 50th installment of Real Gary Tussey Live. So all those who are hanging with me as we do our live feed every morning, when we do our live feed for 1 hour, we also record 2 of our podcasts, and this is on a Friday. And every Thursday and Friday, we discuss things that revolve around music and musica for our friends down below what used to be a border. And we are so thrilled about music taking humanity away. It takes humanity to another place all the time, and it sets mood, sets tone. It causes a theme in your life, all that. So on the last podcast, we talked about the largest selling, and I could have gone on and on that list, but we did the top 10 largest selling physical purchases of recordings or discs. They would be 45s, or they would be CDs. And it started out with White Christmas by Bing Crosby. The next one was Elton John's Candle in the Wind, and Something About the Way You Looked Tonight. And it went on and on. And today we're talking about, on this episode of Real Gary Tussey Podcast, we're talking about digital downloads and the largest sales of digital downloads. If you remember the list yesterday, and you can find all this on Wikipedia, and it's a very good resource, and everything is actually documented with resources and footnotes. And the largest selling music digitally does not even remotely resemble what has been the largest selling music as far as a physical record or CD. Now, there's something to be said about that. In 2007, well, just let me read this here and you'll see. Apple's iTunes Store has the biggest music catalog in the world, with over 12 million songs available for download. In 2008, iTunes overtook Walmart to become the #1 music retailer in the U.S. Best Buy, Amazon, and Target lagged behind in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th positions. In less than 7 years since its initial launch, iTunes has grown to become the world's largest music retailer, with some reports stating that it accounts for more than 70% of worldwide online music sales. Now, something interesting to me, this is evidently a few months or years old. I don't know when this was updated, but I will say I wonder now, and I'm going to find out because we at Real Gary Tussey keep it real. We want to find out if Amazon outsells iTunes now. Miss Julia, do you have a clue if Amazon now outsells iTunes in music? Miss Julia thinks that it does not, and maybe you want to weigh in because Amazon, man, is Amazon. You know how I got my Buddy Cozy coffee cup warmer? Amazon. He bought that on Amazon and sent it to the Real Gary Tussey so that all of our fans could enjoy Real Gary Tussey having warm coffee the entire hour that we are together. And thank you, Buddy, for the Real Buddy Cozy coffee cup warmer that sits right here, warming my We the People mug every day. It's amazing. Thank you. Now, digital downloads, we're going to talk about 10 of these, and you may not be familiar with any of these. Some of them I am, and most of them I am not. And these are the top selling digital downloads of music. All right. Are you ready for this? Number one top. Anybody want to guess on this? Because you never will guess. You will never guess this. You may look it up, but you're not going to guess this. Number one top selling music digital download is, drum roll please, I Got a Feeling by the Black Eyed Peas. I listen to Black Keys all the time, so that's we kind of kicked in. I Got a Feeling by Black Eyed Peas. Number two, most digitally downloaded songs ever. Number two, Poker Face by Lady Gaga. Now, I'm going to read them all, then I'll come back and comment. This is so interesting to me. Number three, Boom Boom Pow by Black Eyed Peas. Number four, I'm Yours by Jason Mraz. Number five, Viva La Vida by Coldplay. Number six, Just Dance by Lady Gaga and Colby O'Donis. Number seven, Low featuring T-Pain by Flo Rida. 8, Love Story by Taylor Swift. 9, Bleeding Love by Leona Lewis. Bleeding Love by Leona Lewis. And number 10, TikTok by Kesha with a $sign. Okay. That is very interesting to me. And if you heard on the last podcast, we were talking about what were the largest selling physical disc of either 45s or CDs, the largest selling of all time, and the over 50 million was White Christmas by Bing Crosby. Now, an interesting thing here, the largest digitally downloaded song of all time is I Got a Feeling, Black Eyed Peas. But what I don't see in these statistics, which I'm going to follow up on this, how many downloads is that? Anybody got their device with them and they can look that up and send it to me right now? I Got a Feeling by Black Eyed Peas is the largest digital download song of all time. Number two is Poker Face by Lady Gaga. Anybody remember when there was one day there was no Lady Gaga? Next day, everything was Lady Gaga, all because of this song, Poker Face. And if you're a music fan at all, and it was a very creative, innovative video, and visual really helps sell your music. All the bands and all the, even if you're a solo artist who does acoustic, take a look in the mirror before you step out, because visual does have an effect on whether you're going to sell your music or not. You may think it doesn't, but you're in denial. We can help you with that here at Real Gary Tussey. So, I Got a Feeling by Black Eyed Peas is the number one digital download song of all time. Number 2, Poker Face by Lady Gaga. I remember the day when there was no Lady Gaga, and then the next day, everything's Lady Gaga. And the thing that's amazing, if you ever listen to Lady Gaga, you should find an opportunity on YouTube to listen to Lady Gaga with only her and a piano. The woman is so talented. It is amazing. And just to take a raw song and a voice and a keyboard and wail, this lady has it going on. It's amazing to me that in third place in the all-time digital download column is still by the same band, Black Eyed Peas, Boom Boom Pow. And an interesting thing to me, as in the last podcast we talked about the largest selling disc, the largest selling physical disc of music was nothing like what is the largest selling disc of downloads. What does this tell us? It tells us who's buying music and who's not. So who's buying music today? They're not driving to the store buying it. They're buying it online, and the people buying it online, I mean, this is just statistic. They're not buying country music. There's not a country music song on here. We've got pop, we got rock, we've got alternative rock. Wait a minute. I take that back. Number 8. Is Love Story by Taylor Swift a country song? Thank y'all for helping me with some information here this morning. I love how that, I wonder, because Taylor Swift is crossover, and daggone, she's good. Good songwriter. You may feel how you feel about it, about her, but she's another great songwriter, and she looks good doing it, but that's another story. But it is what I'm telling you. The way you look and the way you present does help to sell your music. I'm telling you, believe me. So I definitely don't endorse lip syncing like the guys did when they sang Rain, the Rain song. But you got to look the part. You got to look interesting and then good. So, Taylor Swift song Love Story may be a country song. Somebody might weigh in and tell me, yeah, Gary, that's a country song. And you may weigh in and say, no, it's a pop tune. I don't listen to Taylor Swift until it's kind of forced on me. Don't throw a book at me. I can't tell you a major Taylor Swift song that I've just got to hear every day. Even, I know Shake It is a big deal and all that, but I don't listen to it. I do like the Black Eyed Peas. I particularly like, Fergie. She's really talented. She does some wild stuff when it comes to singing the national anthem. She was just trying to be artistic, and she was true to herself and kind of laughed at herself when she was done, that she kind of stretched the boundaries there a little bit on her artistic freedom. But over the last 2 podcasts, we've been talking about largest selling physical disc of either a 45 or a CD, is so different from largest selling or the most downloads of all time, or digital downloads of all time. Totally different. It's very, very heavy in rock and pop and alternative, and maybe one country song, which would be Taylor Swift. I don't know. I'll be researching that. Thanks for hanging with us. This is the fastest 15 minutes in podcasting and the fastest hour in live feed. We are encouraging you to live and let live, to be free and set other people free, and to apply a high energy pursuit for happiness. Tussey out.